When we get up in the morning, along with coffee, toast, and cake. If you're like the old Stone Roadie, you like to wake and bake. Now let's join Craig, Reed, and Griff Martin as we head out on the road. So sit right back, buckle right in. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Time to rise and shine. I'm Shelby Barrett, the Stoned for the STONED Roadie Show, and it's time to Wake and Bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The STONED Roadie Show, podcast number 178. Wake and Bake, the Morning Buzz, number 59. Action. Well, good morning, fellow Earthlings. Looky here, looky here. It's Wednesday morning, June the 5th, but actually it's June the 4th, and it's only about almost 4 o'clock, because we got a couple of guests and they didn't want to come on at 3 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, we're doing this the day before. We got with us today, we got my one and only son, Chad Reed, and his mother, Susan, my first wife. And as normal, we got my name's Craig Reed, aka the Stoned Roadie, and this is my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So why don't you just take it away, Griff, and let's just try to roll with this thing here this morning, or this evening, or whatever it is. I'm all discombobulated today here. Go ahead.
We been hyping you guys now for quite a few weeks, since we knew that Chad, your mom, Susan, was going to come on, and everybody's been excited. And you guys are going to have to, out there in TV land, are going to have to bear with us, because they've got kind of a erratic connection, and that's all we can do, because it's just the way it is. But what's really cool about these two guys here is, number one, Susan, Chad's mom, she's got a really big history with Lynyrd Skynyrd, because she was married to the Stoned Roadie, and she's the mother of Chad, and so she was around all of those guys in the band when Craig first went down to Florida, and then she moved down there. So we're going to kind of go through and dissect what happened and how all that came about, and we're really happy to have you, Susan, and thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it, and I'm sure it's going to be quite interesting. So to start with, we're gonna go ahead and say that you're over at Susan's house, right, Chad? And that's where you guys are joining the Zoom meeting. And right. And Tanner's back there somewhere hanging around, and you're on Tanner's laptop.
Right over here.
Yeah, Tanner's the grandson. So Craig's got some pictures that we're going to look at here in a little bit, or whenever he wants to pull them up while we're talking or whatever.
Well, this is the one. This is the one where I got in the background here. You can see the 1972 Oldsmobile Delta 88, and that's out at the Hell House, and that's Susan and Chad, and we're having a little cookout, and that you can see the door. That's the Hell House door right there, I think. I believe. No, yeah.
That's the door. It looks like the door.
It'd be the open door. Yeah, they're sitting there cooking something. Yeah, Susan couldn't remember. She said, "Did that have a kitchen?" I don't believe it had a kitchen.
Well, I remember cooking in there anyway, so.
And the tree's right behind her.
I don't think I would do that again. Huh?
Yeah. And the tree, the famous tree, is right behind you. That was outside the door there.
And when I after I got with Lynyrd Skynyrd and I went back up to Ohio, that's Susan and Chad before we moved to Florida. That
Yeah,
picture
you moved first. You were here.
was taken in Ohio before we left for Florida. So that's how young Chad was when we left. So yeah, so that's all show for now. So
Yeah. So Susan, let's go back to the beginning. And you and Chad were living in Ohio, right? And then Craig decided he's going to move down to Florida and join Lynyrd Skynyrd, right? And
right. Well, we
did you
divorced. Yeah.
You were divorced, right?
Yeah, we got married. We were high school sweethearts, and we got married. I think about a year, and then he ended up moving down south. He said he was working for a band Lynyrd Skynyrd. I had no idea who they were. I never heard of them. He came from Ohio, and it wasn't until I did move there because I met them and heard the music and recognized some of the hits and stuff. Yeah. So we moved into Confederate Point on the west side.
We were actually Cedar Cove.
Yeah, Cedar Cove.
Cedar Point was across the street.
No, that was the name of the road.
Right, yeah.
So when he decided
So
when he decided to give you a call and you guys were going to come down, so you knew who Lynyrd Skynyrd was and you'd heard their music and stuff. How familiar were you with them?
No.
No?
I had no idea anything about Jacksonville or Lynyrd Skynyrd. I never heard of them before.
Oh, so you hadn't heard any of
their...
their...
He was working for a band. No, I didn't know about him until I moved here.
And how old was Chad?
He was 3 when I moved here. What?
2.
I think 3. I'm pretty sure 3. Yeah.
Maybe just turned because he moved down there after New Year's. Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so when you guys came down, Craig was already down and you were going to join him then, right?
Right. Got an apartment on the west side, Cedar Cove. And,
yeah, we came off a tour. We came off a tour, and I came home, and I called Susan, and we got back together, and then we moved back down to Jacksonville. Yeah.
So
I think that was the year you were only home for about 60 days out of the year, I believe. And I didn't know anybody until I met Kathy and Judy. They were really welcoming and nice to me. So that kind of made me feel a lot more comfortable because when I first moved here, my first friend was actually Kathy, and she would say, "Now, Amy, you go look on yonder and go fetch me this." I went, "Oh God, where did I get myself in?" This way, and so anyway, we became very good friends. We could take the kids everywhere, circus with Jack Daniels miniature in those furs. Coat and throw that in there. We were crazy. It made the circus a lot better.
So had you ever been to Florida before you came down? Had you ever been to Florida?
Yeah.
No.
Never.
And
Never.
You said when you first met, the first people you met, it was Alan Collins' wife, Kathy, right? And that's when you were talking about
she had
that country.
Well, actually, I think we went over to when we first got down there. I think we went over to Stella, and Billy Chester. Billy Chester. I think that Stella was married to Billy Chester, who was a roadie for 38 Special. That Stella became Billy's wife. And then I think you might have met Dean before.
Dean was the hoot.
But then we got that apartment there at Confederate Point pretty early, and then Dean and Ronnie Caruso and everybody already lived there. Yeah.
Don Barnes.
Oh yeah, Don Barnes.
Don Barnes.
And
yeah.
Randall Hall was the maintenance man.
Yeah, Randall Hall was a maintenance man there. Yeah.
I hate to keep butting in, but I don't remember. Chad said that Susan said that she doesn't remember a lot. that happened, doesn't remember a lot and doesn't think anything she had to from back then was very important. But a lot of people thinks the things that you know is part of rock and roll history. So,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of the things that happened to me, I was just ho hum. But Griff said, "You never told me that," and I just said, "Well, it didn't mean anything to me." And he goes, "God, that's cool," So a lot of things that people find fascinating, like meeting, Judy and Kathy Collins and all those people, like Dean used to come
I
over all
can't
the
think of
time.
another woman that ever slept at the Hell House.
No, I
No.
don't think there was ever another woman that stayed there. I think
was
there
the
was.
lucky one, huh?
Well, Susan, can you remember the first time you met Ronnie Van Zant?
Didn't he, the first time, I
We
think he
went to
made
a
me
we
into
went to
our
a
apartment.
we went to a concert. We went to a concert somewhere in Pennsylvania, I think, and we went
Was
to a
that
concert
before?
Well, he
somewhere,
Was
and
would
that
that's
come
like the
before?
first
over,
time you met him.
Was that before she moved to
well,
Florida?
he'd come over
Something tells me it
Kathy a lot
was.
over to the condo.
So, what did you think about
She,
Ronnie, Susan? What was your
It could
thoughts
have
about?
been, oh, I liked him from the very beginning. He was really a nice guy. Yeah, he was a real gentleman, and he wasn't wild and crazy like the other ones were.
So he was a little
And
more reserved than the
I
rest
liked
of
Ron.
them. When
Yeah,
the
I would say
when,
that. Wouldn't you, Craig?
pardon me?
Wouldn't you say that Ronnie Van Zant was a little more reserved than the other ones? He didn't get high.
Oh yeah, as far as
Yeah,
yeah, in that circumstance, he didn't smoke pot or
yeah.
you
He
know.
kind of kept the other guys in line.
Yeah, he was he was more business like.
well,
Yeah.
Susan, the first time that
Keep
you
it more
were
reserved, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's good
the
terminology.
first time
Yeah.
that you were in the room when the band was performing, like say in Hell House, and you heard them playing, what did you think about that? Did you think that, wow, this is some really talented bunch of folks here, or what were your thoughts on that?
Kind of. It was loud, very loud in the Hell House.
Yes.
An open concert or anything. But I thought, you know what, they're really talented. I wasn't sure if I liked the music really that much at that time. It was loud. But it was interesting. It was fun. It was something different.
But they weren't that famous at the time, and you didn't probably realize that it was going to turn into something as big as it did, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I had
She
no idea.
still doesn't realize it. To this day, she's like, Chad, they weren't really all that popular.
They
They weren't that big. I don't know what the big fuss about this
Well, they
is.
weren't the Beatles.
In Jacksonville, they were.
Well, how about now? I mean, when you like say you go to the grocery store or wherever and you hear like Sweet Home Alabama come on the radio, I mean, you gotta kind of pinch yourself and go, I was there, I met those guys that sang that, right? I mean,
Sure, that's when I started rubbing in that, hey, these guys are a lot bigger than I thought, because they were big in Jacksonville. They weren't large at that point at very many other places, but Jacksonville, they were huge. And they got on everywhere else, after year, maybe 2 years after I moved here.
So whenever they
tours a lot.
whenever they went out on tour, what did you do? You just hung out. Who did you hang out with? Kathy and Judy?
Judy and Kathy. Judy and I, we were always busy going to the store and buying skinny jeans and platform shoes. We loved that shoes. Made us like 4 inches taller.
Platform
we were really
shoes
into
and
that.
skinny
We
jeans.
talking. Platform shoes and skinny jeans. That was Judy and I. And Kathy and I, we just hung out and, like I said, we take the kids to the circus or, take the kids wherever. But, we did shopping. So, yeah, but we were together almost all the time. Like I said, I didn't know anybody when I moved there, so they opened their arms to me, and it was like, nice. They're good girls.
We lived within walking distance of Kathy Collins. I mean, you know, Chad and Junior walked down to the 7-Eleven and robbed the 7-Eleven with sticks.
I got Chad, he's 3 years old. I got him this leather-looking jacket, and he felt he was the Fonz or something. And so he and a group of neighbor boys and girls, maybe, they all walked to the 7-Eleven and sold a bunch of stuff. I got in the car when I realized he was missing. You threw those little butts in my car, took them home, told the parents, and then I said, Chad, we're going back. And I made him return it.
Griff, the worst part about it is my dad was on tour when that happened. So I had to sit around and think about my ass getting tore up for like 3 months. And he came home and got this damn hairbrush that he had and broke that thing across my ass. So that was a 3-month participation on an ass whipping. It really, every day wake up, got another 2 months and 29 days before I get my ass whipped. 2 months and 28 days before I get my ass whipped.
Well, you were kind of young. You were kind of young to be thieving, weren't you?
He was hanging around with some monster named Junior. What happened to Junior? What happened to Junior, Chad? He died, didn't he?
Oh, he died. Yeah, I bumped into his mom about probably a decade ago, and she told me he died. But you know what? They were selling candy and fake cigarettes with gum, and the ones that you blow on, and the smoke would come out. The only thing I took was those airplanes that you winded up, you know, and threw with the rubber band. That's the only thing I took was the damn airplanes and the gliders, man. I had a pocket. What kind of wood was that again? Like balsa wood or something? I had a pocket full of balsa wood.
All I remember is that leather-looking jacket with his chest hanging out.
Yeah, it said the Fonz underneath of it with the thumb up.
So your mom kept telling you, you just wait till your dad gets home. When he gets home, you're going to get that ass.
No, she didn't really tell me. Actually, I think after a couple months, she was trying to talk him out of it. Every time I talked to her, when I get home, you're getting your ass whipped. 2 months and 27 days left.
Well, Susan, okay, you guys came down and you probably stayed in the apartment, and then when Craig said, hey, we have to go out to this cabin out there where they practice, and we have to spend the night. And then when you got there, what were you thinking about when you got there? What were your thoughts about that?
I was young and adventurous. It didn't bother me at all, really. I mean,
No.
you know, I didn't want to go there too often, but you know, they were out of town. They were, you know, at concerts. Like one year, you guys were home like 60 days out of the year. I remember. So I got plenty of breaks away from the Hell House.
So it was kind of like camping out then, huh?
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, we go out there and shoot guns and bow and arrows and BB guns and I remember shooting the 38 for the first time out in the Hell House. My dad always had a 38 on him, and yeah, so I mean we go out there and shoot in the river and spotlight the river, look for gators and all that stuff. So yeah, it was fun.
What do you think was the longest amount of time you stayed out there, Susan?
Ooh.
2-3 days at a time.
At a time, probably 2-3 days
Yeah.
at a time.
And what did you? And whenever they came back to practice, then you probably weren't there a lot when they were practicing. You were back at the apartment.
Well, I did both. If I wanted to go and watch them practice, I did, but I pretty much did not. Why was I going to say that? Because, you know, we were there so often anyway, I needed some breaks.
But you were there.
It wasn't real comfortable out there during the day.
No, camping might have been easier, better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they call it.
There are a lot of bugs.
10 roof sheds. Inside that place was 120 degrees.
It was not the Ritz-Carlton.
Were they pretty relentless in their practice? Did they ever come out and take a break, or were they? How did they?
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They had to take some pot breaks too.
Oh yeah, so they had to smoke some weed in between
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
They had to walk outside to cool down.
yeah.
Do you remember, Susan? Do you ever remember like any particular song that they were practicing at one time that you may have heard later, like on the radio or anything?
I would think it was Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
That was probably the first one that I realized, wow, that was the big hit for Lynyrd Skynyrd.
And
Yeah, that's when I was young and cute.
and shooting Chad's bow and arrow at the Hell House, yeah.
And you were the only girl out there ever, huh? No other women ever went out there, girls ever went out there with you?
Heck no,
Just
no,
you.
I can't think of any women out there. Well, Judy never came out there, did she?
I don't remember any women ever being, maybe one or two, maybe just visiting for briefly, but yeah, nobody ever stayed there.
So I was the macho girl, I guess.
So that boat, Bad Company, did you guys were out in that boat and you remember crashing that thing up in the trees, don't you?
No, that was a bad
That
company.
wasn't Bad Company. No, that wasn't that boat. That wasn't. Did I show that picture?
All right, I lost my thing.
Yeah, that was Ronnie Crusoe. That was his racing boat that we crashed in the trees.
I don't remember which one of these pictures I've shown, but that's me and Chad in.
Well, that's not Ronnie's bass boat.
Yeah, it is. That's Bad Company.
Yeah, that's Ronnie's bass boat. Yeah, out at the Hell House dock. Yeah.
We didn't crash in that boat. We crashed in a Caruso's boat.
Yeah, the jet boat. Yeah. I couldn't find the pick that picture.
Who was driving it whenever it got crashed?
Ronnie.
Ronnie?
Yeah, Ronnie.
He had an arm in a sling.
A sling. Yeah, you remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a bunch of, I think, Harvey Wallbangers we made.
So we had Harvey tree bangers that day. It wasn't no wall banger. We was hitting trees.
I don't know how we did not explode.
It was harder getting out of the trees than it was getting in, huh?
Oh, it was easy getting in.
Hey, we got there quick too. Hey, these fools, there was water moccasins falling out of the damn tree, and these fools were jumping in the water to grab a rope.
We had limbs above us with snakes. I keep talking this.
And the mosquitoes were eating them up. Yeah, they were spotting mosquitoes. Yeah.
Was Sally Arnold there when that happened, Craig?
No, that wasn't that time.
No.
That was JoJo, Susan and JoJo, and
living with us for quite a while.
When your screen lights up, you know that he's talking.
And Craig, when you guys went out to Lake Delancey and went camping, that's in your video, in your home movies, right? Do you remember going out camping at Lake Delancey, and that where it was, Craig?
Yeah. When Judy and Ronnie and Gene and his daughter, and we went out in that Winnebago, and we were all out in the boats fishing. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? You guys all camping out there?
I remember that. Yeah.
You and Judy and Martha were running, and you were ahead of everybody.
That's what I was shocked. Yeah, I don't know what we were running from, but we were.
You guys were jogging down the street going for that watermelon truck.
You were just.
Okay.
And you
guys just took off walking and ended up running, and
you were telling me that Judy and Ronnie, they didn't really do any drugs. That was just mainly everybody else, right? They were pretty.
Yeah. He did a lot of Jack Black and Coke.
So he liked to drink Jack Black.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I don't remember Judy drinking or getting high.
And you also told me when we were talking earlier that if it weren't for Judy, that band probably never would have made it. Didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
What was it that she did?
She was like their manager.
Yeah.
She promoted them, and Yeah, she promoted them and got them going.
Did she like go to work?
When they were when they first started, Judy was kind of supported them, and she had that. I think she had a Toyota, and she's the one that drove Ronnie and Gary up to get pick Ed up and stuff. Yeah, that was when they very first started. Yeah, she really, financially.
The band had 2 credit cards, Judy's and my dad's.
Well, Judy, once they started getting famous, Judy got that little 2-seater Mercedes, the convertible, and I think she got 2 of them. She liked to exchange her cars as much as her shoes. But yeah, she liked, when they were living in apartments, they switched out apartments all the time, and her cars. I remember her buying new cars all the time.
Was Judy working like somewhere? Like, did she have a job? No.
No.
How about you? Did you have to work any, or you just took care of Chad?
I did not work. I let.
She didn't take care of me neither. That's how I ended up at the convenience store stealing shit.
Would you, Susan? Would you say it was pretty rough when you first, like, financially, when you first got down there? Was it kind of tough, or how do you remember?
We were paycheck to paycheck, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And moving there when I was that young was very frightening because I lived with Mom and Dad after Craig and I divorced, and Mom was so close to Chad, that she disowned me when I told her I was moving to Florida. But she used to make my doctor's appointments. She did everything for me. So I moved to Jacksonville, and I remember getting sick, and Craig was gone. And I said, how do I go about calling a doctor? And how do it was just, I really was very young when I moved here.
Like 20.
Yeah, she was like 20
she was 20 years old.
Did you? Go ahead.
I should say that, I was not independent. I got there really fast.
Did you ever go on the road with them, like on a tour at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
not long ones. Yeah, I didn't go on a tour, long ones. I was just go here and there.
Just kind of went to
Hawaii.
You went to Hawaii, and were you playing in Hawaii when was?
No, we after we played in Hawaii, the whole band went there for 2 weeks. Yeah, we all had condos right on the beach for like 2 weeks, and we had rent a car, and we drove all over Maui, and that was a lot of fun.
It's funny, Griff. All of our luggage got lost. So there was a gift shop, like at the hotel that we were at, that sold tourist clothes, the flowered shirts and the flowered shorts. And if you notice in a lot of the pictures, you'll see Alan and Billy and all of them. They all have those damn flowered shirts on, And it's not. We had no other choice, man. We walked around that place with matching outfits for 2 weeks before they found our luggage.
I think it was 3 days our luggage was gone.
Yeah, we walked around looking like tourists, man. We had matching yellow and Komodo shorts and all kinds of stuff, man, until they finally found our luggage.
The way I remember it, when we first got over there, everybody had at least 2 of those flower lays around their neck.
Yeah.
At least 2.
My first pig roast. Remember the pig roast?
Yeah, the pig. They had a luau there that day too.
Yeah, we went to all the luau's and stuff. Yeah.
Susan, when you went to, like, let's say the first show that you saw them perform at, was it pretty crowded? Can you remember where that was?
It's probably a local, possibly, and it was crowded.
Did you kind of like?
She was at the one where Ronnie couldn't sing, and they destroyed the stage, and Judy and Kathy and Susan all got it. They all got in my Mercedes, and I drove them all home. And then went back to the show and loaded the show out because it was a riot, Yeah, I took them. I took all the women and got them out of there and took them home. It was a riot.
Wow. What was Susan? What was Kathy Collins like? What was she like?
Oh, well, very simple. You know, she would talk real southern, real slow, and she moved as slow as she was
Just
a great gal. Yeah,
And-
I really miss
Her and Teresa Gaines, man. Her and Teresa Gaines were just
Yeah, I
sweethearts.
didn't hang out with Teresa a lot. I did somewhat, but she also moved far away also, so she didn't close.
So whenever you guys like went out together and stuff, you were pretty good friends. You were like really great friends. And did you like
Yeah.
were you like glad when the guys came home, or were you like, damn, I wish they'd be gone a little longer?
Yeah, I know Judy was always really couldn't wait to see Ronnie. And Kathy, he was a little harder work. Yeah, we pretty much were glad to get him back.
Well, did the band once they got back in town, did they kind of like just do their own thing, or did they hang out
For a few
together?
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a few days, and then we'd start going to each other's houses. They came over to our apartment quite a bit, and Ronnie liked wrestle with Chad when he was young. You know, they didn't have any boys other than Chad, so they all made girls, so they enjoyed Chad's company. So
Did you ever witness Ronnie keeping anybody in line? Like if they started acting up, maybe he kind of like straightened them out, or anything like that?
I didn't witness it. He might have given him a look and maybe left, you know, but I don't recall him ever talking down to him or anything like that.
Yeah.
Greg
So,
would probably have seen it more.
but you know, a lot of people like that are big Lynyrd Skynyrd fans. You know, they know that, you know, like those guys would get in fights a lot, and Ronnie would knock some people's teeth out. I guess, Craig, that probably happened on the road more than it did when they were back home, right?
Yeah, that kind of stuff didn't happen at home. That was just on the road stuff.
So
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
pretty much got along then, and you guys went fishing together a lot and stuff like that, and pretty much you guys had a good time when they were back then.
Yeah.
We did have a good time.
The only time that I ever remember Ronnie scaring me was when Jimmy Carter didn't show up, and he refused to sing. He said, "Well, he ain't going to show up for me. I'm raising his money. I refuse to sing." And they were trying to help him go down the stairs to leave the stadium, and he was flipping out. And I remember I was like one floor above where he was, and he looked up at me, and it scared the shit out of me. I'd never seen him act like that before, and it was the only time I ever did. But I got to see it that one time, and it was scary.
Now,
I saw Charlie Daniels beat up a cameraman one time. That kind of freaked me out. Charlie apologized to me about that like 20 years later.
Oh, wow. Now, Susan, you were telling me when we talked on the phone before that Alan Collins was just a crazy, wild guy, right? What was some of the stuff that he did that was kind of wild? Did you like kind of witness him like ever mash on the gas pedal when somebody was driving and try to pull the steering wheel to one side or anything? Because we've heard stories of that.
If he did it, I didn't think anything of it because he was just crazy all the way around.
Did he like to drink a lot, or what was he doing? Was he just naturally crazy?
You name it.
Yeah. Would you say he was? Was he the most radical guy in the band? Would you say, as far as crazy?
I would say so. What about you, Craig?
Oh yeah,
Put him up
definitely. Yeah, he had that black Lincoln Continental Mark IV or whatever it was. He was crazy in that thing. My God.
Yeah, a motorcycle, you name it. I wouldn't want to be on the road with him. No.
And how about Gary? How about
Gary's
Gary?
kinda lazy.
Yeah, would you say that that name Prince Charming, was that something that people thought of Gary as Prince Charming, or was that something Ronnie came up with, or where did he get that from?
He didn't get it from me. I don't know that I even heard that one.
It's in the song, so they call you Prince Charming. That's about
Is
it.
that about Gary?
Yeah.
How little I know.
Gary, Gary was always, when you talk to him, he would, oh man, come
Yeah.
on, and he was always playing with his face and moving his hair, hide behind his hat, and kind of shy away from you. Come on, man, don't say it like that, he was kind of like that.
And what about Billy Powell? What was how was he to be around? Was he a nice, pretty fun guy, or what was he like?
We weren't around Billy that much. It's funny because I ran into him probably 10 years ago in the mall, and he recognized me. I thought, I was kind of surprised.
I think it's probably more like 20. I think Billy's been gone for longer than 10.
Well, okay. I was at the mall.
Well, time
I was
flies.
at the mall. We ran into each other. We talked, and yeah. But yeah, it's just been a guy not too long after I met him. That's just,
And how about Artimus? What was Artimus like?
Laid back. He lived with us off and on a lot. When we lived at the apartment, I think that at Road.
Even at the condo, when we had the condo for the '87 tour, he stayed with us a lot.
Yeah, so he stayed with us a lot. And when he bought Chad a set of drums, kid drums.
Yeah, which I never knew that, Chad, that Artemis Pyle bought you a set of drums. Like, whatever happened to those drums? That would be pretty collectible right now, man.
I'm sure I gave them away. I said, thanks, Artimus. Thanks a lot.
Was he making a lot of noise with those drums, Susan?
He bought, I don't know which one I had. I know we bought 2 sets, and one was for Chris. I think I had the blue set. Mine was blue, and then he bought Chris, his son, a set, and his was red. But there was a blue and red set that he bought.
So we used to go up to South Carolina and Spartanburg and to Artemis and Pat's house and stay with them for a few days at a time and go up.
That's why I fell in love with Jeeps.
Go out mountain.
That's when I fell in love with Jeeps.
Yeah.
Spartanburg. Yeah, I fell in love with Jeeps from doing the mountain climbing because of that.
How about Ed King? What would you say about Ed King?
I didn't know Ed very well.
No, was he kind of like a quiet guy, or?
Well, he didn't hang out with the guys, as far as I know.
He came to the condo with Artemis at one time.
He may have come over one time.
Yeah, he came over with Artemis.
I didn't know him very well.
But he was around pretty much, though. I mean, at practices and things like that. Did you ever have any interactions with him, or?
No, I really didn't. He just, I guess, stayed to himself.
Yeah. So did you feel like that? Did you feel like he was kind of like different than everybody else? Was he like not kind of in the clique with everybody? Did he seem to like be more off to himself?
I would describe him probably that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't go out of his way to, talk to you or have, a conversation with you or anything like that.
I don't recall Ed ever coming to our apartment. I don't
either. Chad said he did.
He's at the condo at the beach there in '87. He came with,
I don't think
Artemis,
he was ever at.
And walked around the beach, looked around for seashells to use for a pick.
I never remember him coming over.
How about Leon Wilkeson?
He died a couple of times right next to Craig.
When you were there.
In Mississippi, plane crash. They revived him like that 3 times. He's right next to Craig. I had to pass him in order to get to Craig. It's pretty scary. I don't know Leon that well as well. He kind of kept in himself, and I forget his wife's name.
Teresa.
Teresa, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they were not in the.
And Steve Gaines, you remember Steve Gaines? You guys, was he was a pretty nice guy, huh?
He's a nice guy, yeah. But once again, he wasn't really involved with us too much. Teresa was, on occasion, to come over and hang out with us.
Did you ever?
I could do some, like, peace. Sorry.
Did you ever like go on the plane at all? You know, like did you ever like go out there when they were getting on the plane, or were you ever around the plane at all?
Yeah, when they were getting on the plane, I'd be taking them to. I don't recall ever being on that plane, but I would take Craig there. Yeah.
So when you remember, what do you remember about the plane crash? How did you find out about that?
Well, Craig and I were split up, and I remember I was with a couple girlfriends at a bar, and I don't know how it happened, but somebody came running over to me.
The babysitter called.
Was that it?
The babysitter called the bar.
The babysitter, I guess, called the bar, had me paid, and said that the plane went down. So I went home and I called the number that I guess they left with the babysitter. And it was New York management at the time. And they told me what happened, and they said Craig might not make it, and we realized that you guys have been broken up, but he has nobody, he might not make it. We have a plane ticket sitting at the airport for you, please take the first flight out. So that morning I did. And
well, Grandma Reed came in.
Yeah. The people in Jackson, Mississippi were just so wonderful. They brought us food, they brought us all kinds of stuff. They just couldn't do enough for us.
Were you back in Ohio then?
No, I stayed in Jacksonville.
You were in Jacksonville? What made you stay in Florida? You know, you're from Ohio. Did you end up, you're still there?
No.
Well,
no.
I got smart and decided I'd rather stay here than go to Ohio. And I started getting a lot of friends here too. So
yeah, and so you like living in Florida now that you're.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a beach girl. I live at Jacksonville Beach.
Shortly after the plane crash, my mom's mom, my grandma, she bought us a condo in Atlantic Beach right on the ocean. So it was like the ocean was in the backyard and the pool in the parking lot in the front yard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to move away from.
Susan, if you had to like pick something that was like one of the most memorable things that you experienced as far as being around the band Lynyrd Skynyrd, something that you remember that was really just something that is very memorable to you, what would it be?
What would it be? Well,
Dom Perignon and cocaine, probably.
Well, so that stage, they had a contract with Dom Perignon. They had to have, I don't know, 2 cases or something like that. And they had some pretty nice stuff backstage. And I think it was in Hawaii that it was really fantastic. There's a lot of Dom Perignon. And so the concert was over, and the girls and I took the limo back to the hotel. So I went to bed. I got up to go to the bathroom, and I think I was sleepwalking. And so I walked out of the bathroom and out in the hall in the middle of the night. And I was fully half dressed. And luckily I found somebody that worked in the hall, or worked in the hotel, that would let me in, but that was just freaking out. Chad being 3 years old, 4 years old, in the room by himself, and that was pretty scary. But I mean, we had good times everywhere we went, you know. Not like I said, I didn't go to that on the road system.
Do you still stay in touch? When's the last time you talked to Judy? You still stay in touch with Judy?
Oh God, my son's gonna be pissed off at me. I wish he didn't bring that up. I texted her for the first time in probably 30 years, a few weeks ago. We were going to be at Sliders night after the Cumberland, and she texted back and said she was surprised that she wasn't sure if she did have something she had to do.
Why am I going to be pissed off about it?
She's been mad at me that I haven't kept up with her.
Right.
I hear that from Chad all the time. So anyway, we're trying to get that together again.
Well, that's
We
good.
made the
Yeah.
first move, so in the testing. She's like, yeah, I miss her.
Last time I talked to Judy, she was like, I don't know why me and your mom don't talk anymore. We were best friends.
We were together every day.
Yeah. You guys ought to, look each other up and get together. What do you think about that grandson of yours playing his baseball skills?
I'm proud of him.
Yeah?
Was that mine? Yeah, I'm very proud of him. He's always been a good kid,
He is a
Dad
good
was
kid.
different thing. Yeah, he's nothing like his dad.
Well, nobody's like him.
The baseball aspect.
Yeah, they both play baseball. You're better.
No, you were not better.
You are better.
No, he was not.
Well, I think we can
All right.
safely
I didn't know he
say.
had a big head until now.
Oh, yeah, he's got a big head. He gets that from his
Yeah,
grandfather.
Yeah, you shouldn't over say tell him I was a better baseball player than my dad.
Yeah.
He's a pitcher. I was a baseball player.
Once he goes pro, then you can't argue.
Well, once he goes past the minors, then he's better than me.
Yeah, I'm proud of his dad. His girlfriend's gorgeous too.
Oh,
Wow.
she is. Yeah, she is.
She's
Beautiful.
a little taller. She's a little taller, I think, than Tanner. And she's gorgeous. She's soccer player.
No, volleyball.
Or volleyball.
She just actually committed today.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
She is
Okay.
gorgeous.
Ashland State Hospital. No, she actually she's going to school in South Carolina.
Okay, cool. Well, we're hoping that
Her name's
Tanner.
Nadia.
We're hoping to see Tanner. Yeah, we're hoping to see Tanner in the pros one day, and and I'm going to get free passes to the games. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, I'm going to get a house paid for and a new car. I'm writing out a list.
Give her the Jeep.
Give me a lifetime.
Give her the Jeep.
Well, Craig, did you go through all the pictures?
There's one here. I don't know if I showed that one of Susan and Chad at Gary's dock. I think I showed the rest of them.
Yeah.
Here.
That's you.
That doesn't look on here.
That's you. It was a black and white film.
Well, I still should show blonde.
Well,
That's
Who's
Gary's
that in the
dock
back?
out.
Who's that?
Here was
That's Gary's dock
Who's that in the back there?
where he had socks.
I don't
That's what I
recognize
said.
who that was.
Oh, something
That's
back
not
here.
me.
That's you. I've got the picture. I'll
That
show it
might
to
be
you.
me in the back.
No, that's you. I got the picture. I'll show it to you.
Well, Susan, you went to several weddings, like the guys in the band. Did you go to some of the weddings and things? You were there?
Did I just do it?
Billy, I was the pallbearer at Billy's.
Billy? Okay. Was that it though? Billy's wedding?
It was Billy and Ellen.
Not Ellen. I guess Billy.
No, Stella. It was Billy and Stella.
Billy and Stella. Okay. That was
Did you-
all. They
did
were
you
already
ever,
married.
Did you ever ride any horses out at Hell House?
Billy.
Gary's socks.
Socks, yeah.
Everybody said, Sue, don't ride that.
That course was crazy.
The horse was crazy. And I acted like I knew what I was doing, like I really knew how to ride a horse. I got on that damn thing. He took off with me, and I didn't know how to stop him. He just took off. I got hit with a branch on my head with it, and he got to the barn and just made a quick stop, and I almost flew over.
And you
Now
were
we know what
fine?
happened.
Yeah, that was so stupid. I don't think I've been on a horse then.
He gave to the same since that branch hits you in the head either.
Okay, that is stupid.
Well, I think
I can't use blonde.
Chad, to kind of sum things up, I think you're right. I think that your mom, she still doesn't really realize how famous Lynyrd Skynyrd really is.
No. So we had this talk probably about 2 weeks ago, and or maybe a month ago.
I'm in denial.
And that's a river in Egypt.
No, I realize how important it is.
Well, what kind of?
I just don't live in the past. Like have lived in the past, you know, and I just don't live in the future.
What kind of music do you like?
I like the southern rock.
Yeah. So
That's Skynyrd.
Yeah, Skynyrd. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah.
So if you're in the car listening to the radio, you listen to Southern rock?
Yeah.
Or country. She listens to the newer country stuff that sounds like Southern rock.
And Chad, didn't you say after your mom talked to me on the phone, she said, that guy really worked for NASA? He sounds like a hick.
Yeah.
I didn't say you sound like a hit.
Yeah, the hell you did.
I said you sound kind of like Craig because you talk kind of slow. And you do sound kind of southern. I never said hick.
I know. I'm just funning with you. Well, you know, all
Susan, people on Facebook say that I'm the most famous roadie ever that ever existed on the face of the earth since the dawn of time, since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. That's got to be about as humorous to you as it is to me.
Oh my God.
That's pretty funny. I show this picture a lot. I got one more picture. I show.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just got one more picture I was going to show. I show this picture on Facebook a lot, or sometimes, and I talk about all my past 5 wives, and I say, yeah, and this is what my first wife still thinks about me.
That's not very lucky.
Well, I have to tell you.
Oh, I've got a picture of you doing the exact same thing a few months ago.
Susan, you know what Craig always tells me that he picked better looking women than anybody did, even in the band members. He said he always had the prettiest wives.
Well, I hope those people are watching this.
I'll have
that
to
runs
agree.
in the family, by the way.
Yeah, I have to agree. You know, I have to agree.
I just had my 70th birthday in April. I think I'm depressed. Most of deep depression.
Well, you know,
That's
at least you look like you're doing pretty good. You look like you're in pretty good health, and you certainly still look very nice too. Not like Chad.
Well, not like those pictures either.
Hey, I got a thyroid problem.
Yeah. Eat too much. Eat too much.
Well, I tell you,
I like seafood. I eat it.
It's really been nice chatting with you, and I think that it's added some enlightenment to, you know, what it was like to be the wife of a roadie, and, you know, and being around Lynyrd Skynyrd out at Hell House, and having a lot of experiences with that, and people are really looking forward to hearing from you. So we appreciate you coming on, and Chad, you coming on with your mom, and Craig, you got anything else? I think
no. There have been a lot of people that go, wow, when's Chad's mom coming on? And I go, yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, there's been a lot of people. Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. It wasn't something I ever thought would happen. Actually, my 5th wife kind of suggested it. She said, you need to
Your 5th wife? You beat me. Yes.
My last
you
wife,
beat
my
me by
5th one. She said, you need to
I've got more steps than the Washington Monument.
You need to get people on from the old days, like your first wife and Chad. And I said, well, Chad comes on occasionally, but I don't know about that. I don't think Susan will ever come on. And I told Chad.
So
Chad said, well, my mom said it wouldn't be out of the question.
Would that make her the most famous ex-wife of the most famous Stone Roadie?
Yeah, I guess right. She's the only one that knew everybody, you know.
I think most people were just wanting to see who would have actually married the Stone Roadie and put up with that crap.
I totally agree with that.
I just can't believe there was only nine.
You are a rocket scientist now, I can tell.
I just can't believe there was only 9 of them that couldn't get along with these two.
Well, I was married 4, but divorced 3, and then the last one died, and I did not kill it.
Well,
Nothing to do with it.
well, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, but Craig's got this
You
whole.
might want to cut that too, Griff.
Craig's definitely broke the mold. There's nobody like him. We love him, but he's definitely nobody like that guy on this earth. That's a fact right there. He is original. He is original.
All right. Okay, that's a wrap then, I guess.
Anybody I know from way back is watching this. Hello to you all.
Hey, but you know what, Craig? She did tell me that when you were in school, she said you were one good-looking devil.
You remind me of Elvis Presley.
Yeah,
He
she
kinda
told
had
me that.
look.
She told me that.
And he had
Well-
this hot little Camaro.
67 Camaro.
Yeah, the Camaro, the burgundy.
Mm-hmm.
He drove that like a crazy.
Well, right back at you. You were pretty good looking back then, too.
Let's see.
Remember that one picture that I was showing off those fingers?
All right. Well, while we're still amicable, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up then.
All right.
Thank you,
Nice
Susan,
meeting
for
you.
coming on. Thank you very much.
Nice seeing you, Craig. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Okay, well, that's a wrap. Happy trails to you until we meet again, and cut.